So you keep adding, you add another thing. And then before you know it, you've completely overworked it. You've completely ruined it. And you really lost touch with what you were trying to do in the first place. And anything that was good there, you've killed it. So first of all, you're not alone. It makes you completely normal as an artist. I feel that frustration. I can appreciate the despair. I have literally wanted to throw paintings out and done terrible things to them because this happened to me as well. But the secret here is we really want to figure out what is actually happening. And over years of helping other artists, I have learned that I think we're asking the wrong questions when we go to overwork it. We're moving way too fast and we're really not in touch with the thing that will move us through to solve this painting in a way that really feels good, that aligns with us. So if you're looking at a painting and it's feeling really flat, or you really have lost your mojo at all, I want you to do this one thing. So we're going to step away from the painting in the moment. We're going to actually walk away, step away from the painting, put down the paints. We don't want to do anything related to that part of the process. What we want to do instead is we want to regroup, reconnect in another way. So what I want you to do is I want you to sit with your inspiration. I want you to stare at it for at least 5 minutes. I want you to reconnect with what you were actually inspired with in the first place. I like to sit in front of my inspiration for 5 to 10 minutes, and this happens whenever I feel a disconnect because I need to regroup with where my head was when I was actually inspired, when my heart was on fire. So I want you to sit in front of your inspiration, gaze at it, stare at it for a while until you reconnect with that exact feeling. And ask yourself, what was the feeling? What was that feeling that you were going for when you started? What was the vibe of this? Did I lose it somewhere? Because usually what happens is we have somehow disconnected. We've drifted from that original feeling of inspiration that we really had. And I find that when we can stare at our inspiration, reconnect with it in a visual way, because we're visual artists, how would that not inspire us? And reconnecting makes something click back on. That switch that got turned off somewhere along the way when we were overthinking, overworking, we were using this side of our brain instead of a heart-led decision. That's why we got disconnected. And when you reconnect with your inspiration, when you're looking at it and you're staring and then you go, yes, that's it. That's the feeling. And there's this sigh of relief that you've actually figured out how to solve your paintings because you understand the feeling. You're starting to see ways that that can translate into your paintings. So that is such a huge relief. And that can actually move us into clarity. You will be clear on inspiration. Then the next time you go to hit that painting, you're going to have a very specific angle for how to solve that. And that feels, again, like such a big relief because you have clarity and you're not overthinking and you have a direction that you can feel confident in and you can move forward, picking up the brushes again. You can start painting and feel like it's in the right direction. And I can think of an example where I was about ready to destroy a whole composition. And when I reconnected to my inspiration really quickly, it actually helped me identify, oh no, it is actually a color problem. You don't need to work on the composition. So sometimes we're fixing the wrong problems when we're not slowing down and reconnecting the way that it can really help us solve a painting. So step 2 of this, after you've reconnected with your inspiration, is a way to name what that feeling is. Name the missing feeling. What's missing? Is it calm? Is it energy? Is it tension? Name it. Figure that out. Say it out loud. I want more. I want this. We spend so much time talking about what we don't want in a painting. A lot of times I get on calls with artists and I hear them saying, well, I don't want this. I don't want that. What do you actually want? What is it that you want? Name it. Identify what you want. Look at it from underneath the surface by reconnecting to your inspiration. And that will allow you to really inform the surface level stuff in a way that's meaningful and that actually resonates with you. So when you come at it from this angle and you go to fix a painting, you feel so much more satisfaction. You feel really happy, joyful, and also like, oh, yes, I can do this. I am not a stuck artist. I feel like I can accomplish things. That is what you get when you go through this process. And if you can't name the feeling that you're trying to express, that becomes really troublesome. And especially as an abstract artist, for me, it's literally essential in my work. I am expressing a feeling. I'm not expressing a person, place, or thing. And so naming that really can help. So step 3 in this process is then once you know and you can name that feeling, if you don't want to tackle that painting again because you're afraid to ruin it, do some studies that explore that idea more based on your new inspiration, your reconnection, and look at it through that lens. Once you know that, you'll be confident to go back into finishing that painting in a way that you've kind of tested out so that you don't have to worry about ruining it. I love to test ideas. I love to figure out how to troubleshoot along the way with this process. So, although it's tempting to want to finish the big painting or whatever painting size you're working on, in that moment, which I see a lot of artists do, I think that it actually feels like a relief to step away from it and solve it with different studies. Studies allow you to be playful and come up with it in ways that you just couldn't get through if you're trying to fix the painting in that one moment. You're trying to solve something finished as opposed to exploring with, well, how is the best way to solve this painting? And studies allow you to play with it and have a little more fun with it. I always have to allow myself permission for this, which I'm going to give you permission right now. If you're like, I don't have time for that, Michelle, I've got to solve the painting. Hang on a minute. I promise you, if you take time to do it in this way where you're playing, you're really getting creative, and you say, what if? You're going to allow for some more creative solutions, and you're probably going to get a better finished product than you would have if you just try to go solve it on the painting. So playfulness is literally your job as an artist, and being curious and rolling up your sleeves and having a really good time being playful. I mean, isn't that why we started painting in the first place? I'm here to tell you that is still your first most important job as an artist. So if you have to trick yourself, what I do to give myself permission is I always remind myself my best work comes from play, and I can't discover something unexpected. I have to actually allow myself to play. So my hack is my selling success, my satisfaction relies on me playing. And so I always give myself permission to play. And at first, when I was testing out playing, I would only allow myself 1 hour a week. That's how rigid I was with my playtime. Now I play in the studio every day because I know it helps me solve more. So I want to wrap this up in a tangible way that has worked for me. So I had lost connection to some geometric work I had done, and it looked from the outside that that work was successful, but I really didn't feel that connected to it. It felt like something was missing, something was off. And I was really missing that deeper connection. I lost a sense of myself that wanted calm, that wanted balance, that wanted to strip back everything. I had made things way too complicated, way too bright, and way too fast and loud and noisy, which is completely opposite of who I am as a person. So I stripped everything back. I reconnected to inspiration. I created my balance series, which was a real pivotal point in how I started approaching my painting process. Once I started reconnecting through my balance series, it truly unfolded the way to reconnect and continually evolve my work as an artist. This balance series, although I love the work I'm doing now, it's always the backbone of everything I do because it really got me in tune with what mattered to me the most. So I was searching for balance. I created a series for myself, and that series truly became one of my fastest sellers and taught me that I can sell things that are myself because I'm really in tune with it and other people resonate with that as well. So those paintings not only reconnected me to my art again, it sold faster than before, And it felt like me more than ever. And so that really was the permission slip I needed to really pursue this and always reconnect on a deeper level. And I think what I was most surprised about was that when I stripped back things that were really loud outside noise, bright colors, crazy compositions, what I thought a painting should look like, what surprised me is when I stripped back to my essence, people liked it even more. So if you're stuck, reconnect to the feeling first. Do that step one. Jump in and then do some studies once you're inspired, and it will change how you paint forever.